Okay, so I'm Sue, and I'm the founder of Sustain.ALL and Shift That Movement, and I'm super happy to welcome today Josefina Studios, and Anastasia from Amstel Bleach, and Liz from Rebirth Studios, and Impari Moda like Jana. And I'm super happy to also like have you in the space. And yeah, so let's start. Maybe I will first like ask you about like yeah, who are you? So I think it's a super like initial question. So and what's your actually like kind of passion and mission of like you're doing like of your own creations. So I will just pass by the micro. So you have the micro. Maybe you want to start.
My name is Anastasia. I'm a founder of Amstel Bleach and artist from Amsterdam. Basically, when I started this company, it was just a crazy experiment in my studio, and then I realized that I can use the textiles as my new canvas. And this is where the most interesting upcycling journey started. So I created the new concept of upcycling, not by refurnishing materials, but actually keeping the actual forms of the vintage clothes and just playing with the colors and the textures and adding, as we saw before, the layers of the paint on the top of the items. And I think the main mission is to create the community of like minded people who appreciate the old and know how to do the best out of it. And so we're the generation who knows how to fix instead of replacing, the same how we do with relationships, the same we should treat our like items that we loved before. So yeah, this is how we roll, and I give the mic. This is beautiful.
Oh man. Hello. Hi, my name is Josefina, and I have as my kind of personal brand that is Josefina Studio, where I teach people how to redesign their own clothes through sewing, but also through showing and trying to shift their mindsets. And basically, my mission would be it's it's empowering people with the skills so that they can not depend on anything and not the amount of money that you have or what you have available to be able to express yourself through clothing, which is your second skin. And so I do it in different formats of workshops, classes, events, and anything that I can do to spread it.
I have a mic already. I'm Jana. I'm founder and designer from the fashion brand Impari. I have a social sustainable fashion brand. We create our own materials out of plastic waste, and I also create my prints a bit different, but I think it's with the same same idea. Everything is waste inspired, so I really work with the waste as an inspiration, but also community is very important. So the social impact on my brand is that we teach young creatives here, but also in Ghana. I have an education program there, and also we have created another program where we build our own machine to recycle plastic waste and create a filament and the fiber. Yeah.
I have one. Hi, I'm Liz. I'm the founder of Rebirth Studios, and I also started as an upcycling brand. And now I'm more and more in the B2B area where we create merchandising, um, especially for festivals and artists. And I kind of left the classic fashion industry because it felt like in the B2B area, you have a little bit more impact because it's just, yeah. And we also host a lot of workshops, which is always fun, upcycling workshops. I go into different companies where people reuse their own waste, like coming from if there's like old banner material from festival or whatnot. So yeah, I guess the mission is a mix of making a disposable product more sustainable and yeah, yeah, that is.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I love this, like all from you, like having like this, powerful missions. And this is, I think, like what we are also trying to do is like really create a space that we can see, like, how actually we can, if we really like on the path, if we have really this like mission of like what we are believing, I think it's at the end, it's also super successful, like which I can see, like all of you. So I'm super happy that you're here. So basically, maybe I move to my second question. So how do you find like maybe it's the sustainable fashion that
if can like foster like in those spaces that we are creating like this belonging feeling. So is it like a kind of this acceleration when we see like through our like mission and through our upcycling moments, is it like a kind of feeling more belong maybe through like this moment and this mindset, or like how do you see, is there a relation between? Somebody wants to take? Yeah.
I basically, on my own experience, what I realized that there is this all known like a curve of emotions. You know what happens with the people because the clothes that I'm making, they're a bit provocative, they're a bit too much for someone. So I see that how people react and like how it comes from like, oh no, it's not for me, to like, 1 hour later, like, wait a minute, let me try it because they saw it on someone else. And they're like, ooh, like I can create like the whole videos, of the reactions of people. Ooh, ah, like, like when they look at their like clothes and they're trying, and like you give yourself a chance to be someone else, to actually embrace this change. And the same goes, I think, to sorry, I'm not good used to that. And the same goes like the impact of the plant, and like this is how it goes. Like you have to believe and like give yourself a chance to try to be someone else, to wear something different. And the same would treat the planet and the climate differently. Like the moment when you start thinking about that, the curve is happening. So this is the unique experience also that I created with Amstel Bleach, that at our events we create the feeling of the community belonging. We invite musicians, artists, which is upcycling not just for the clothes, but also for your music, for your talent and everything. So everything that is not used, you bring to our community and you feel welcome. You feel that you have the space to show your talents, and the same chance we should give to the planet as well, I think. Mm.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a little bit of that, but I actually, yeah, for me it's a different thing because when you say belonging, I feel it's the belonging in groups, like in a culture, in a certain subculture of the society or in your family, and I feel to me sustainable fashion means using things, I mean, using clothes in this case, until the very end of their lifespan. That's what it means to me. Like, I've never used, for example, sustainable materials because to me, the most sustainable is what's already there. So if you take it all the way until the end, or if it's not useful to you anymore, then like your trash is going to be someone else's treasure. So you give it to someone else and never throw it away until it's like really needs to go away. And through that, I think when you make your own clothes, because that's what my world is a little bit about, when you make your own, you adjust it to who you are in that moment in time. So then by doing that, you automatically are going to belong in the group, in the group that you feel most attached to. And that happens like not only with fashion, but also with, I don't know, sports, music, culture. That's what brings people together. And it's just human nature. So I feel fashion, like as it is as your second skin, is not superficial like the fashion world is supposed to like accused of being. I think it's actually like in the very core of what you wear is like who you are. And if you can make your own, then you don't have to like depend on what people are telling you to wear. You just like decide whatever, and that way you belong in like in your family. For example, if you're using your grandma's clothes to out to tailor to you, or in whatever group that you belong in society. Yeah.
Thank you. Are there more answers? Are there more answers?
Like, I think I just could say the same actually, and maybe add on that for me, sustainable fashion is also it's storytelling, it's teaching others what can we do to be sustainable also as brands, but as human beings, as a customer. And also for me, sustainable fashion means to create circles. So for me, it's the plastic aspect, and for others, it's the second-hand aspect. So I think there are so many opportunities. And when we all come together, we can really do a movement and change something. Yeah.
Okay, so I think like this is like understandable, like how is like our kind of like this core idea. I mean, it's like super diverse, how you also like create like your creative process. So I want to go deep dive a bit like to your own like unique creative process because I think like we are in the same mission and there's like in the same like line of like what we are going like in which way, but I'm like, I really want to know, like, would you like to maybe give your a bit like from your artistic side, like the creative process, like how you create like this unique process for your own brand or for your own studio?
Always something to say. So basically, I started in January of this year. My special project as an artist, I see a frequency, which I exhibited with the Holy Art Gallery in Amsterdam. And I continue this one linear project that you would see in our clothes of Amstel Bleach. It's my unique signature that was also published in the magazines and etc. And I connect with this small line, that we're all connected with this small line, and like it can go from the canvas later to the sketches. We had tarot cards today also exhibiting with the same one-liner project, and then it goes like to the denim or etc. that we're creating. So, which means we're all into that together. Again, this is the part of being belonging, and art can be in anything. It can be in any material, even this table or the fashion or etc. If you give the meaning and the good intention to the things that we use. So yeah, I think Nick, you would like to say something. Can you talk a little louder?
To me, my creative process, I think, comes from limitations. So whenever I want something, like, I don't know, a random idea that I want something, or I hear about a problem that someone has, then, if I can't find what's already there, then that's my trigger to actually invent it or to find a way around it. And I think that's why I've also naturally landed in designing through upcycling and through existing clothing, because that's like, if you give me a blank piece of fabric, like, I don't get so creative. I don't know. It's too many options. Like, I get anxiety from all the like possibilities. So, but if you give me, okay, we only have this to work with, then I can do whatever you want, and that's where I really thrive in the problem solving. And I think that's also why I ended up, because I don't sell products at the moment. Like, you can't really, yeah, I don't have a clothing brand, so it's more about the problem, like offering services that solve a problem, or teaching in a way that I hear that people are wanting to learn, or yeah, just trying to figure out like the blockages and find creative solutions around them.
What always excites me is to give something a completely new purpose or life. Or I don't know, like reusing bed sheets and making a wedding dress, or having a towel and giving it really like like a second different life. And also, I feel like with textiles, we think about the fashion industry, but there's also with you in plastic, like there is, if you think about the hotel industry or about, there's so many industries. I mean, let's say about merchandise, like there's so much textile waste also outside of the classic fashion industry. So I always like to play with also not these obvious parts of the industry. That makes sense. Yeah. I love you.
Okay, so maybe like I really want to also learn like so how you started. So I learned already from you. So you were already telling. But so how did you come like in your life like to that process? So this was like your background already, or like how you had this like idea of, okay, like I'm gonna go into this field, like, and I'm gonna really like create something. Okay, so I see.
Um, so studied fashion design, and then I worked for a really big online retailer. And there, I think for the first time, I was like, at some point, I was like, there is a lot of old stuff like laying in the warehouses, and we're still buying new things, or there's new collections, and we're still producing new collections. And then I had the chance to, uh, yeah, within this retailer, to actually start reusing these products and creating new collection out of the old. And then for the first time, I also saw, okay, it's not just the fashion industry that has these problems, it's also like the hotels that have the old towels or whatnot. And kind of this whole upcycling part of these unordinary materials came to life. And then I started my own business doing this. So that kind of through working in the through working in the fashion industry, seeing the problems, then ending up in what I'm doing now. If that makes sense. Yeah.
For me, it was I am a trained tailor, so I really come from the old school kind of. Then I studied fashion design, and in between, I teach the tailor class in Kenya. And I really was in a village. And for me, after my traineeship, I already realized I actually can't work in fashion. How superficial it was, and it was not really community based, not social. And I felt really not in the place where I want to be, but I love fashion. So I was really like, what can I do about it? Then I took the break until I started studying and went to Kenya, and I really realized how much waste we have, and it's not only fashion. So, and I was in a village, so there were no recycling companies that took care of the waste, and they burned and the weekend the rubber, everything in front of the house. So they had no other choices. And then when I started studying, I actually in the first semester also founded my brand because I was like, hey, let me change something. And this needs to be different. And let's bring education, community, sustainability together. It was a lot because I also didn't know how. So it was like a journey to understand how is a brand working, how I do this, because I'm also just a designer, and how can I teach and educate and also create sustainable fashion and work with waste. So this is actually how it started. So it's a bit from everywhere, and then it melted in one circle, kind of. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Do we have more? Yeah.
I actually started making my own clothes when I was 15 because my mom didn't want to get me new clothes because I was like, yeah, like I'm not gonna get a new wardrobe for a 15-year-old, and I didn't felt identified with I didn't want to use girl clothes anymore, and I was getting all this from my aunts and my mom and grandmas but I wanted to. I was always asking my mom to send me to the tailor, and she was like, "Okay, no, stop it. I'm not we're not doing this anymore." And then I was like, "Okay, take me to sewing classes then." And she did, and then I started making yeah, I started making my own, and then my friends wanted also, and then I started with a friend, like my first clothing brand when I was 17, and then from that I was like, okay, this is cool. Let's go to fashion school, and then, yeah, yeah, I was making money, it was cool, and then I went to fashion school, um, and I moved to Berlin. I'm from Uruguay, and I moved to Berlin 4 years ago because I wanted a big, fancy, fancy job, 9 to 5 at a, I don't know, a cool brand. That was my fantasy, I moved to Europe where everything is cool and there's money and everything. And then I couldn't, yeah, that's not the real, that's not how it is. And then I arrived here and I was okay, looking for jobs and stuff. But all the brands that I wanted to work with, have no money to hire. And but the only options were corporate, which is not designing. So I was I didn't move all the way from a different continent for this. So then yeah, I was okay, I need to go back to my survival skills, which is sewing. So I got a sewing machine and some Facebook groups, and 2 months after I arrived, and then things went from that. I realized that a lot of people were in need. There was a problem, which was that no, a lot of people wanted to learn and wanted to alter and wanted custom clothes. So then I got a studio and started from there. And like yeah, now it's 3.5 years, and it's evolved into something that I feel more comfortable and more better use of my time, which is teaching, because I actually don't like sewing anymore. Like it's done. But yeah, that's a little bit of what was the question? I think I answered it. No.
So yeah, exactly. You answered it all. Okay, perfect. So I'm so I hear like really like super cool stories, like like how you blend like a kind of your different like background and also like your like this was like my question, like how is your actually like your how you started, how is your creative process, and what's leading you, like what's leading your way right now, like what's that like this power, like because like I think like this is the um all of you here, like this is like a kind of this is like a super power craft. I think this is super important. And so I will like move to my another question, because I think we really also need to talk about it, So okay, this is everything is super cool, like we're on the mission, but actually, what are the challenges? Because this is like actually, so it's like the process of also like this making maybe also this creative vision a bit harder, like with the conditions maybe right now, like what's changing. Also, it's not just about like environmental issues, but it's also like society issues, like political issues. So what is like your kind of the challenges at the moment? Like, are you facing any challenges, or everything is like a kind of a fairy tale, like in your own businesses? So like yeah, tell me about more challenges, because this is like what I'm also like doing like at the true sustain all. I take different challenges from different industry, like NGOs, from government, and basically this is like how we are like creating like solutions like in our lab, like for more sustainable solutions, more sustainable actions, but also like through science, so this is like the academia, like what it helps, of course, to create a bit more like concepts, like pilot projects, and that we can directly implement in the spaces. So I really want to learn about the challenges, so maybe we have more solutions for you. So this is like who wants to start? Yeah.
So I think the challenge is always that in the beginning it's just you, and you have an idea and you don't have the money for it actually. So for me, it was to find a community and people that believe in what I believe in. So really do something out of waste. And this is actually then it happened kind of organically with me, and also with people where I traveled a lot to Ghana because I was invited to Fashion Week. But then this community grew so fast. So the fashion industry there grew very fast, and also in the sustainable way, because there's the biggest secondhand market, the Kantamanto market. Then there is so much plastic waste in the ocean. So I was like, wow, I'm here for a reason. So someone bring me here, because this is actually my vision, but I didn't know where to go to. So now I work with engineers from Ghana and with people from here, with social associations from Germany that are based in Ghana. I think when you really feel something inside of you, it will lead you to it. So there's always a solution when you believe in it, also when there is no money, because for me, money is just an energy and we shouldn't focus on it. Also, when there is nothing, it doesn't help when you sit in the corner and cry about it. It just helps when you really do something. There is a solution. Talk to people, because communication is key. And I think this is how it works actually out here. Yes.
I mean, I guess in general, the bigger the world problems get, and we have quite a few at the moment, the less important like sustainability gets less important, because I mean, I understand. I also feel it personally. Like a few years ago, I would be like, "Oh my God, can I fly there? Or can I do this?" And now I don't know. It shifted a bit, that you a little bit like some people fly around the globe 4 times a day. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like it's just like how what you feel a bit like, or at least for me, this feeling of you're just a little drop in the ocean gets bigger when this bigger crisis happen. Which is obviously you shouldn't be like. I mean, I agree that yeah, we're a lot of little drops, so we can be the big ocean to the children. Anyway, yeah, I think this is the biggest. Yeah, I think this is the biggest thing. Like, I really feel that sustainability is getting less and less important, and people are willing to spend less money. Companies are, it gets less important in society, and I hope we come back to a point where it's not like this. I think we need to, few years be strong.
You know why I was laughing? Because I also say that I'm dropping the ocean. And if you say that you're also dropping the ocean, and there's so many different drops and it's the rain, So like come on. Like people don't understand their power. And like yes, like it's not gonna be like immediately, It's like it's very long process. And I think my main challenge right now is like to know how to use this mic, first of all. And second of all, second of all, like how to slow down fast fashion, So what I'm building right now, besides like having the brand that is paying my bills, which is also like really, really challenging. But also to build the process of end upcycling and waste for the big brands. For example, we're not gonna name them right now, but to be like very diplomatic and kind, but there should be some upcycling process and built into every big company, like instead of throwing that to the ocean, to the islands, or like just simply burning things out, like there should be some solution, or at least the hub where they can like send their returns, for example, from the shop and bring back to the market, even with a high price. It can be an art project or like
But I'm
refurbish.
sorry, I think it's not the
things,
problem of upcycling. I think it's more the problem of producing this. I
Yeah,
mean, like,
yeah,
because
exactly.
the amount of stuff that is pushed in the market is just cheap plastic stuff. You don't want to upcycle this.
I mean, we
So,
unfortunately we cannot control their capacities, and their like strategy and business plan, which also would be nice, but like that's even more far, like like high end view. But like as a short term solution, at least, like for example, what I'm working on to create like sort of CRM system, to offer as a service to big company to create the hub. How we can help them. Yes, it's still drop in the ocean, maybe too, but slowly, slowly, if you, me, and so like all of us unite together, it's a lot of jobs.
That's super beautiful. I actually was thinking of a completely different line. When you said challenges, I mean, the challenges I face now, like as a one person business, and like is reaching people. Like whatever I do, like the problem is selling. The problem is finding the, because I believe in what I do, and I know that like person, like every single person I meet that I tell them what I do is like, ah, cool, wow, yeah, I didn't know. Like yesterday I was talking to these guys from that live in Frankfurt, and like they didn't know what upcycling meant, and but like then I showed them my website, and they were like you could see it in their faces, they're completely like blown away because they didn't know that that was possible. So I think the biggest challenge for me is like to actually reach people. So my dream is to have an agency, or not to have, like to have an agent or a manager. No, 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 not assistant, like someone who takes over that part so that I can do exactly. I just want to create because that's what I like to do, and not be like learning and like writing the in the very, very little details, because it's just, you just lead to burnout. So if there someone has knows about like, yeah, I think it's in the end it's all marketing, but it's that's the biggest struggle, I think. And yeah, you can have the best product, but if you don't know how to sell it, I mean, or if you do, but like people need to know about you.
Yeah.
And for that it takes the mindset, like the knowledge on how to grow and to how to reach those people.
Hmm.
So there's
Okay.
someone, let me know.
Our careers page is open. Followers.
So this is like where we are also like here, like, doing this all together. So we reach also like through other people, like through also like medias and so on. But this is like, so, okay, so we have this like, challenges. So we talk about the challenges, what you're facing on. So now I want to really come to this part. So we are fast forward, so this is like what's the, now 2025. So we are fast forward to 2035. So what is like in 10 years? How do you see like maybe like your kind of like division, like, or is, where are we going? So do you have a like a positive picture? Do you have a negative picture? Or like where are you in this picture? Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm actually working on the side in building a startup that is going to be an app, a platform that is going to allow brands to take care of the end of life. So we're gonna take over those of, because today they don't do it because it's too expensive, so they prefer to just burn it, and that's what like literally happens. So what we're trying to build is a logistic and a way to like blend technology and fashion so that people can be re-educated, but like using the brand's reach, because if we start doing it like very little, then the impact is it will take years. So yeah, blending, and so I hopefully in 10 years we're gonna be super successful, and the face of fashion, the fashion industry is gonna change completely with our platform. Yeah.
Do you have your visions, Lately?
Yeah, my vision is to really blend wisdom transfer with circular processes so that circular fashion becomes more available and also more accessible, not only for brands and for the industry, but also for unis, for education. So we really start from zero, and you in the uni are not using new materials anymore, and maybe learn this first before you start learning about just drawing an outfit. So for me, really focusing on the sustainability is key, and that, yeah, my brand is not only a role model in the future, but also educates more brands and bring more brands together to use maybe our material then, or our filament that we have then, I hope. So we are working on that, and really bring it to different kind of countries, that you have a production system, but next to is also a hub for creatives, for young people that can't afford maybe the education in creativity, but they want to learn and they have a vision. And yeah, to bring all this together is actually my vision. Yeah.
Not so much vision, but first of all, I hope that there's less old white angry men that lead huge countries. Then I hope that I think there needs to be more regulations, because I think without the regulations, there's not gonna happen a lot. And yeah, I also hope that now all at once that AI is not taking all designers' jobs, maybe, and that yeah, AI is for used for our benefits rather than, and maybe there's a yeah, we can also find a solution to put all the plastic clothing in a big and make, I don't know, trees out of it. I don't know, something nice, but I don't know. I hope in 10 years we're just yeah, that sustainability is definitely a bit more trendy than right now, and we're all having more time for creative processes rather than yeah, all the other stuff. That's not so fun.
Okay, so we are, I think, like a kind of the end of our like talk. But I really want to also like keep this also like kind of like what we were talking about today is was it we were trying to also like to open the space also for, there was like versions of like, your creative science, because every each of you is like doing like your own unique thing. And but what brings us together here is actually that we all feel belong like through this sustainable fashion. We have all this like a kind of the same mission of like, upcycling, co-creating, like belonging to communities. And yeah, so I would really like to thank you so much that you were here, part of our like journey, one day journey. And yeah, keep following us. Shift that movement is like gonna be a really go from like different spaces in Berlin, in different cities, in Amsterdam, like Istanbul. So we are gonna move like the community from one to another to really keep this like mindset, like minded people and we come together and like we have this community that we really can co-create all of us together, because this is like our mission, like, more co-creation for a sustainable future. And this is like the motto of Sustain.ALL: think global, act local, collab at Sustain.ALL. So thank you so much for being here. And okay, I will stop recording.